Hey guys, it's your boy Deempo. Welcome back to the channel. I hope everyone's doing well, and today I bring to you some more Arena Breakout Infinite content. In particular, this is a video that's aimed more towards new players or like players that are very casual and do not have quite a grasp on how the game works and what the game is about. Before we begin though, guys, if you do enjoy the content, don't forget to hit that sub button. I'll be doing a massive giveaway when we hit that 20k subs mark. Also, do check us out on Discord. We have a growing community where we have a lot of ammo traders. So if that's something you're looking into get into, where you can make an absorbent amount of money, do check out our Discord. I will leave a link in the description below. Now, guys, what is ABI and how does it differ from first-person shooters or other tactical shooters? Well, it's quite simple, right? So ABI is based on Tarkov, but where Tarkov is super hardcore, ABI is really watered down, which makes it really accessible for new players versus Tarkov that's already has like a very steep learning curve. Also, in Arena Breakout Infinite, the inventory does not wipe, whereas Tarkov has periodical wipes, which means you have to start from scratch over and over again, which means you get to retain your wealth in ABI. And then when you do want to play with your friends, you don't have to start from zero. So that's one good thing, right? What makes it different? It's the fact that it plays like, I would say it's like a hybrid between, I would say, Warzone and Escape from Tarkov. The gunplay is unreal, like it's much better than Escape from Tarkov, but the mechanics are not as hardcore. I mean, you can like mend broken limbs on the walk, you can heal on the run as well. Grenades don't kill. It's more about like slower time to kill, or TTK if you want to call it. So it does differ from Tarkov significantly. However, a lot of people play this game like an FPS, and it's not exactly a first-person shooter. At its core, it's more of an extraction shooter.
What's bad?
My lag.
Hey, even your voice is laggy, bro.
Now, if you're familiar with my channel, you would have seen in the past I used to struggle significantly with ping. I used to disconnect on live streams, and it was very frustrating losing all your viewers, dropping out of games constantly, and just the ability not to be able to play with friends or viewers from across the world. Up until I discovered Gear Up Booster. So what Gear Up Booster essentially has allowed me to do is to make sure I get the best possible connection when playing on different servers, and most of all, it reduces the ping. So the whole activation process is actually fairly straightforward. All you need to do is go to their website, download their launcher, and once you create an account, you can just select which game you like to boost. As you can see here, you can add new games. For me, for example, I play Total War Warhammer 3, I also play Arena Breakout Infinite, and then you go ahead and boost it. Once you've boosted the game that you like, you can see here it estimates the ping. So essentially what it does is it gives you the servers in which you connect to. So for me, for example, is Sydney, Australia. So it goes PC, Sydney, and gives you how much ping it goes there. Now, the best thing I like about Gear Up Booster is you can see they are a legitimate provider. They have all different partners, including TSM, and they are affiliated with a lot of games. So if we go to games here, you'll see I have a lot of different options to pick with. If this is something you're interested with, I'll leave a link in the description below. You can go and apply it for a free trial. Happy hunting out there. So let's just discuss core objectives and core mechanics. The way this works is you obviously have your gear here, and each gear is tiered. So it goes from tier 1 to tier 6, except for the ammo. The ammo will go up to tier 7 in some instances, but we'll get into that a little bit later. So the way it works is obviously higher tier gear is resilient to more ammunition. However, there is some ammunition in the game that can bypass the highest level of gear, and that is ammo that is equivalent with level gear. So if you're wearing a T6 helmet here and someone's using a T6 ammo, there is a chance they will one-tap you to the head. Therefore, this is a very expensive ammo, and it's very specialized ammo. So therefore, it is very important that you gear according not only to your value, but also you need to gear based on the mode that you're going to play. So what you'll find is normal will have a gear value there. So if I go back here and I go enter, normal will have a gear cap of 300,000, which is a ceiling cap of 300,000, which means people here are expected to go with gear less than 300,000. Right now, my equipment value here is 873, which means this is a late game kit. It is not something that you would bring to normals. Now, if you want to explore higher tiers of gameplay, I bring to you Lockdown and Forbidden. So Lockdown has a minimum, so whereas normal had a ceiling, Lockdown has a minimal value of 100k, which means your kit needs to be higher than 100k. In this instance here, my kit's 873, so I can go in. Now you may ask, what's the difference between Lockdown and Forbidden? Well, Forbidden has better loot, but also Forbidden has a lot more rats. Now, Forbidden has a minimal entry of 300,000. However, with the current inflation in game, it is not very difficult to gear up to 300,000 to get in game. So that's another talking point that we'll be discussing later, which is game inflation at the moment, as everything is extremely inflated. So, rule number 1, dress for the occasion. If you're going to do higher tier gameplay, you will need higher tier gear. If you're going to do lower tier gameplay, then you need lower tier gear. So if we look at ammunitions, for example, oops, sorry about that. So if we go ammo, and if we go 762 by 51, for example, this here has level 3, level 4, level 5, and level 6 ammo. And if you remember what I said about the armors, you have different tiers armor that will respect differently to lower tier or higher tier ammo, depending on the ammo respectively, right? So a Spartan C, for example, it's a tier 6 armor. The 6BN2, it's a tier 6 helmet, which means it will absorb a lot of low tier ammo before it finally breaks. If you want to know what that looks like in practice, you can always go into the firing range. So essentially the firing range does for you is allows you to go and test out different guns. You can access the firing range either through this menu or through the home menu as well. Doesn't really matter. It can go either way. And I'll teach you the difference about armors in a second. So right now we have T5 ammo in here. If I was to go here and go different ammo dump, you have level 1 ammo, level 2, level 3, level 4, and level 5. So automatic guns will only go up to level 5 ammo. Some of them only go up to level 4 ammo. So it just depends on the weapon. Now let's just jump in here. And we will put a T5 armor on this body. And it has a T6 helmet. So let's just start with the body. So 1, 2, 3. 3 shots to kill tier 5 armor because I'm using T5 ammo. Or you can just spray it down. Now if I was to upgrade this to a tier 6 armor, you'll find it'll take a lot more than 3 bullet. 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 to pen. So pretty much double. Pretty much double. So the armor will react differently to different ammo. Now if I was to run lower tier ammo, it will take even more for the TTK. Okay, so that's pretty much how the core mechanic of the game is. You gear up, you go to fight, you PvP, and then it all comes based on RNG, ammo type, armor type, so on and so on. So there's no such thing as like one glove fits all. You'll need to dress correct for the occasion and depending on the mode that you're doing. All right, so we discussed the firing range, we discussed the armor mechanic, we discussed the ammo type. Now let's look into the weapons. Weapons comes in a wild assortment, right? So you have assault rifles, submachine guns, carbines, marksman rifles, bolt actions, shotguns, light machine guns, and pistol. There's no such thing as the perfect gun. They're all good at something and they lack in other departments. So for example, the H4 or the M4 or any other high firing power gun will perform very good at like sort of short to mid range, whereas marksman rifles and bolt action rifles will excel at mid to long range. Therefore, depending on the map that you do, you need to look into different guns you want to bring. Also, you can build any gun in the game that you want, and before finalizing, you can go test it out. So if I wanted to build like an M4, I can go ahead and like, you know, build it from scratch. You can change skins, you can change stocks, you can change barrels. And then once you sort of build a build that you're comfortable with, you can also save it so you're able to access it another time. And then before you buy this weapon, all you got to do is pretty much put a mag in and then jump into the shooting range. And then you can go and try this weapon free of charge. I recommend this for new players before you load into the map so you can familiarize yourself with the recoil. The weapons have different attachments as well. Some weapons have more attachments, some weapons have less attachments. But it is very important that you go and test it out. So as you see right now, we have level 1 ammo. And level 1 ammo will do very good against flesh, but it won't do really well against armor. So that's another thing to note there. So we've covered firing range, we've covered armor, we've covered the weapons. Now let's discuss the variety of maps in the game, and then we can discuss what the best strategies are if you're a new player or if you're an existing player and you just keep losing fights. I'll run you through some of the mindset of a more veteran player. So currently in Arena Breakout Infinite, you have, let's go enter. Go lockdown. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 maps. 5 maps that you can play as a team. You also have a variety of different modes. You have limited time events like Secure Ops. Secure Ops is essentially a mode when you go in and you only use lose your consumables if you die, like your ammo, your meds, your grenades, and so on. But you retain your gear and your weapons. So if you're a new player, I highly recommend you drop into Secure Ops. Currently, TV stations in rotation, but it will rotate towards different modes as well. Then you have Team Elimination. Small map, TDM based. You have Arsenal Shuffle, which is kind of like a gun game from Call of Duty, and you have your duos mode as well. And this will have different rotating maps as well. So if you want to play in duos, this is an option for you. Unfortunately, this is only available in lockdown, but it doesn't stop you to solo queue. And then you have the coveted covert ops. So if you're a new player, you should spend most of your time running covert ops. Why? Because it's zero risk and it's all reward. You have absolutely nothing to lose and everything to gain. Jump into covert ops and start learning both of the maps. We'll go through the maps in a second. I'll tell you which ones are beginner friendly, which ones are not. But covert ops is definitely your starting point because it is free money, and when you're new, everything matters. And as I said, you can also access the shooting range from here. You can also pretty much, build a gun on the fly inside the range. So let's just go back to the maps now. All right, so as I said, you have pretty much 5 maps to choose from. You have the OG 2 maps, which is Farm and Valley. These two are very beginner friendly. Valley more so, Farm a little bit less so because there's a bit more choking points where people like to camp. But these two I highly recommend if you're starting out to try. So what's good about Farm? Well, Farm is good because it's smaller, more compact, and you get to experience looting and PvP a little bit more than Valley. Whereas Valley is a bit bigger. There's a bit more loot on it, but the areas are more widely dispersed, which makes it a little bit of a running simulator. The only time you fight here is if you rush a hotspot or you catch someone off the spawn. Otherwise, you'll be just bumping into rats camping on all these high zones here, trying to snipe down unsuspecting souls below. So these 2 maps I'd highly recommend if you're someone that's looking to get into the game. Then once you sort of get your bearing and you're comfortable with your PvP and whatnot, then you can explore Northridge. Northridge is like the biggest map in the game at the moment. It's kind of like Valley, just a lot more populated. You have a lot more hotspots, a lot more safes. And also you can click on the map here. It will give you an idea of where all the safes are. So if you're new, you can quite easily do that, which Tarkov doesn't do for you. Then you also have Armory and you have TV Station. TV Station is perhaps the highest learning curve because Forbidden TV Station is absolutely insane. It's all sweats in there. Armory and Northridge is a bit of hit and miss. Armory is, I would say, the second sweatiest map, but perhaps the best map for loot. I think the best loot table is in Armory. The most secret documents drop in Armory, so on and so on. So it's definitely there. But my advice, start on Farm and Valley, run a lot of covert ops, and pretty much just play Farm and Valley until you shake your gear fear. Gear fear will hold you back, ladies and gentlemen. If you have gear fear, it will literally hold you back. You will never learn the game. Vice versa, if you only rat with Mosin or SVTU, you will never learn the game as well. So rat when you're low on funds, chat up when you have enough funds. So my advice to you guys is build up a parachute about 20 to 30 million before you start experimenting with Forbidden. Lockdown you can get away with before that. Now that's just how inflated everything is. But with lockdown you might get frustrated because there'll be a lot of T6 chads just pretty much ego pushing. So do keep that in mind. So accumulate a parachute, keep smashing the game until you're pretty much comfortable with your skills and how the game feels, and just the overall flow. Learn the mechanics, learn how to lean, learn how to shoot. Next up, we'll go with the economy in the game, what sort of kits you need to wear, and then I'll show you how to trade. And yeah, so we'll go from there. So let's just start with the economy itself. So there's various ways you can make money in Arena Breakout Infinite. Obviously, the most obvious one is extracting with loot. However, if you're someone that cannot extract, keep smashing the covert ops. It is free money. You're bound to make some cash doing it. Your second option is Mr. Dick Vincent here. Dick will reset 3 times a day. And it will reset every hour, so up to 3 times. And here, sometimes you can get keys, you can get expensive stuff. Sometimes you get shafted like I did here. But for example, he might offer you like strength teams at 22k. And then if you check how much they sell for 17. So even if I was to buy 3 at 22, I could sell 3 at 17. You make some profit. So Dig is pretty much one way to make money quite easily. So I'm going to go have my last refresh for the day, only to get shafted again. So we have regen injections, which are probably not worth buying. I have a bag here, 49k versus 59 on the market. So you can choose whether you want to buy it or not. Sometimes you get keys, sometimes you don't get keys. And we'll get into the keys in a little bit. So that's your second option. Third option is to trade ammunition. You can pick up any ammo in the game and you can favorite it like I have here. And this ammo will reset at certain times. I have ammo trading guides, so you can check out my YouTube channel. It's in my playlist, how to trade ammo. And pretty much, for example, this ammo here, when it resets like during a 6-hour period, every hour during that period. You'll find this ammo will drop from 5.8 thousand to 4.1 thousand. So you stock up as much as you can at 4.1 thousand, and then you sell at 5.8k and you make an absolute killing. So if you look at through my history here, you see I trade a lot of ammo here and I make a lot of profit out of it. So do take advantage of that before it gets patched. I assume it will get patched very soon because a lot of people are catching on to it and a lot of people are making an absolute bank for their buck. So that's the economy. Make sure you play it safe, you extract, do covert ops, extract with some more. Dig Vincent, check your resets, check the trades on the market, and just buy and sell. And then there's also the ammo option there as well. Now, let's discuss how to kick gear up for the occasion. Now, if you remember, we touched earlier on the armor. You have different sets of armor, different levels of armor. So how do you gear up for the right occasion? So if you're a beginner, I'll give you 3 good loadouts. Whether you're a sniper rat, whether you're someone that likes to get up close and personal, or if you're someone in the middle that likes to play a little bit passive and then a little bit aggressive at times. So we'll start off with the super aggressive builds. You want to go for submachine guns. Why? Because these are very cheap and you can run them with very cheap ammo. Ammo is the most expensive thing in this game. So you'll find that ammo costs an absolute armor. Look at this, 6.9 thousand per ammo per round. You shoot this at 800 RPM. You'll be burning through Cohen, right? So that's why I introduced you the MP5. You go for just a very simple build you can get away with, something like this, nice and cheap. You can run a bigger mag on it and the whole build will cost you what? 45k, right? Very cheap. And for the ammo, you want to run none other than, so if we go 9x19, you want to run the dum-dums, because why? They cost nothing and it doesn't matter what armor the player wears. If you shoot him in the arms or the legs, it will drop him so fast because he got 74 base damage, pretty much no penetration, no armor damage, but he has a high chance to wound. So this is your sort of aggressive up in their face gun. Though if you're gonna run this build, guys, you're gonna need to run a lot of flashbang grenades so you can close that distance and get in their face. I don't recommend you trying to like hold corners with this because it will not work. You need to be shooting those legs. Your second option is if you have a lot more cash, it's a P90. Why? Because it has 1000 RPM and it also has some really good flash ammo, which is this one here, which does 78 pace damage, 8 penetration, which is crazy. At 1000 RPM, they'll be dying very fast. We'll go into the armor separately because the armor you can run with all 3 builds. Next up, we have your ranged build. I mean, this is not even a question of what to run here. The SVTU is your best option. You can run it like this. It'll cost you about, what, 100k maybe? 83,000. or you can go even cheaper by running a Mosin scope on it. And guys, like this is just one tap heads, double tap chests. It is the rattiest gun in the game. I don't know why they added it. I guess they want to please the rats, but this is your second best option and perhaps the best overall weapon if you ask me. It shoots the 7.62 by 54. You have a wild, the only gun that shoots T7 ammo. It's this one here. I mean, 20k around, but you're guaranteed to one-tap anything in the game unless it deflects the bullet. 737, very small chance to deflect, so you're guaranteed to one-tap there. You also have T5 ammo, T4, and T3. So once again, that's your best option if you're someone that likes to snipe and play super, super passive. And last but not least, what I think right now is the best bang for buck gun in the game is the T951. So you can build a decent version of this for not very expensive, and it has like perhaps the fairest ammo in the game. 1.4, it's probably the cheapest T4 ammo for this kind of gun. It gives you decent armor pen, decent damage, and you also have very cheap T5 ammo as well. So if you want to rat with this gun, you 100% can, because the T5 ammo is so good and just melts T6s. So it's very, very good. Alternatively, you can go for an M4 after like this season. This is very, very cheap to build. It doesn't cost an arm and a leg. You can run it, decent build, decent fire rate, decent firing power, which we'll get into in a bit. And it's for 140k, and it shoots the most common ammo in the game, but that ammo has since sort of become more expensive. So 855 A1s now cost about 1.6k, but you do have a wide assortment of guns that run it. So M4 should be your after the T951, because why? It's a bit pricier to run. So those are my three sort of options that I would recommend for you guys. All right, now let's discuss beginner kits. So if you're a beginner, you will not be able to afford to run these kits because they cost 2 to 3 million per game. This is the end game, and naturally you're meant to work your way up to the end game. Unless you want to buy Cohen, you want to lose it straight away. Do not buy Cohen in this game. People that buy Cohen, they lose it straight away. Don't do it, guys. Work up naturally to where you need to be. It's very easy to make money in this game. Honestly, it doesn't take much. So my recommendation, if you're new, run T4, guys. T3, it will get you clapped. Get yourself one of these sentries. Don't trade for it. Buy it off the market. It only goes for like 80k. So super, super good for loadout. Actually, you know what? Let's just grab it so I can show you how to load out. So you go to contacts. Sometimes it will trade it cheaper. Sometimes it wants to check first. 112 is not worth it. It usually trades between 75 to 80k. So I'm going to buy one of these. And then we want a helmet. The best overall helmet at T4 that will still tank a round or two is the helicopter. Always buy it like new. You can pick it up for 80k, 94 at the moment. We'll go ahead and pick it up and we'll equip it, right? Then for bags, I usually take enemies bags, but camping is a nice and cheap way at the moment. So backpacks, you want to go for the canvas camping, nice and cheap option. It won't break the bank if you're a new player. Then we're going to go gunsmith here, and we'll have a different option of what guns we want to run. So for example, in this particular instance here, we are going to opt for a T951. We're going to select the build here, and it doesn't take much to kit this weapon out. Like, it's not super, super expensive. It's got very good recoil stats, firing stats. I'll explain how firing mode, range and everything works after this. For now, I'm just going to give you a good build for this. I would change the handle, however, to a better handle, something that's a bit flatter, because this gun really protrudes. Personally, I'm a huge fan of the red dot around the PK side. I know a lot of people hate the PK side, but I come from Tarkov, so this side for me, it's perfect. So we'll grab this gun here, and it'll cost us 109,000 to grab it. Yep, so we're good. Grab it and equip it, and then we'll get ourselves 2 more mags and get ourselves some ammo here. As you can see, the ammo is perhaps the most important part, and we're going to put the ammo in our safety container. Safety container should always be ammo and meds. You now can get 2x2 for free, or you get the 1x2 that everyone gets as well. So you can always use it to stash your ammo. Next up, you want to grab meds, liquid painkillers. Liquid painkillers sedate you pretty much. You need to pop this even before you get into a fight. Why? Because if they black out a leg, you can still run. You won't be panting when you're hurt, so you won't get pushed. They won't know how hurt you are. So painkillers are a must. Next up, you want some bleeds, so you can get some bleeds. You can clear bleeds with med kits. However, it will take up a lot of the medkit health there just to cure a bleed. You'll take like 100 of these just to cure one bleed, and then the rest to pretty much bring your health back. So this is how I would gear up. Next up, you want some energy drinks. I usually grab 2 depending on the map that you play. And I get an endurance team, but you guys probably don't have to worry about that just yet. Just focus on this. And I always keep my bag in the rear. Why? Because the silhouette is smaller and you're much sort of more difficult to detect at range as well. So that covered the armor and how you should gear up for which map. Now let's discuss things that the game does not tell you. And that is things like long barrels, firing power, firing rate. So every weapon will have recoil stats, ergonomics, accuracy, effective range, so on and so on. Effective range is very important, right? Because after this 52-meter range, the ammo damage will drop off significantly, and so will the penetration. So depending on what your playstyle is, you need to know what gun you're after. That's why I recommend carbines, but they have much higher range. Next up, you have the firing power. Firing power means it will go from low, mid, high, or just mid or high firing power, right? And this pretty much affects how much armor damage you're going to do when it doesn't pen, but also I suspect it impacts penetration as well, non-confirmed, but essentially it'll impact damage in the end. So high firing power obviously are the most sought after guns because they are the best. So that's another thing for you to note. This is not something the game tells you. Alright guys, so what we're loading into the map here, we need to discuss some of the most common mistakes made by new players in ABI. And that one is getting too greedy while looting. Say you get a kill, you want to take all of the gear, you spend too long on the ground looting, you get third partied, you die. So make sure you get more and more efficient in your looting and know when not to overstay your welcome. That is a very big mistake. Perhaps the most common mistake players make. 2, when you do have a lot of gear on you, make sure you're not red weight, because if you're slow, you're a sniper's wet dream. You don't want to get head tapped because you're too slow to move around and hide. Number 3, do not rush into fight without intel. Don't just chase a gun sound. Guys, surround your environment. Third party when the circumstances allow it. Sometimes better for a team to let them finish killing each other off before you third party them. And last but not least, always make sure you have enough ammo and your armor is repaired before you jump in game. All right, now it's important to discuss settings and game optimization depending on the PC rig that you're running. Even though I'm running a very powerful machine, I still like to play on the pretty much, where is it? Image. Performance. So all of my settings here on performance. If you want to play on basic, make sure your scope is always on performance. It makes a huge difference because this game tanks when you're aiming down the scope. So as you can see here, all of my settings are on performance. Frame interpolation is disabled. Super sample quality is performance. DLSS. Overall quality is custom, obviously. Full screen, I play at 4K, but I'm running a 5090, so I can do that. Sound, this is my sound setting here. Really not much groundbreaking there. I do like the music to be pretty much low. Contact volume, UI volume, master volume obviously needs to go there to the top. In terms of game setting, I have firing blur off is just extra distraction. Focal point is pretty much that white dot in the middle of your screen. It's very good for hip firing. It's not 100% accurate, but it's a good starting points. Quick store. You can just read through this, what they do, auto rotate. Some people like this, some people don't like this, but prioritize valuable items for case. So pretty much what this does is if you do pick up something that's really valuable, it will just put in your case and probably replace items already in there. HUD, this is my HUD setting, so you guys can pause and copy this. Once again, nothing groundbreaking. What I do want to spend some more time on is the controls. So your leans should be on hold, not on toggle. So when you lean, you should be very snappy. I also have crouch on my mouse button because when I lean up, I want to be able to crouch up and down. It is very, very powerful. My free camera is also my mouse. Now the mouse button is usually for the ping. Ping I have on a different setting because I like to be able to move my head left to right freely while I run. Everything else is pretty much more or same except for switch magnification, zooming in and out. I have that on my mouse as well. Also, make sure you have a quick drop button. For me, it's T for quick drop. And this allows you to just discard stuff very quickly. And I have F to grab, pick up stuff so you just don't drag from one point to another. All right, where are we here? We're down there. So we got a few choices here. We can go small factory, then village, then villa, or we can push straight for villa. I like to PvP, so maybe we'll push straight for villa. There's a couple of spawns to our right here. No jump around. I don't mind this 2x scope. It's very cheap, all things considered. And the ergonomic penalty. I didn't buy mags, chat. Oh no. What is it? Well, this is a bit of a problem. This is a bit of a problem. These guys must be bots. Well, problem is we only brought one mag. Problem is we only brought one mag. It's a good bag, we take it. I'm not interested in what he has. I'm gonna go straight for Villa now. They're already fighting in there. We'll use this for the scavs and stuff. Once we get inside, we got our main weapon here, which I forgot to bring mags for. So don't do the mistake I do. Check your mags and your ammo. And I literally said the most common mistakes. Oh, and I did it. Now you know why it's a common mistake. This is a very balanced weapon because you get to shoot at range, you get to shoot up close. It's just a good solid weapon. So we're gonna have people already. More bots. Well, at least I think they're bots. They're playing like bots. We're not going to get greedy here. We're going to patch our arms first before we push inside. Survival over everything else. And we're going to pack the mag. Jump inside here. So might be getting pushed from outside here. Nope. Sounds like the boss is out there. And I'm hoping the boss is out there at this stage. Yeah, check this safe. Absolute abysmal. But that's okay. Yep, the boss might be out there. If the boss is out there, that's a payday for us, ladies and gentlemen. If the boss is out there, that is payday for us. So be very careful with the boss. He can kind of clap you very fast. Let's check, see what we find here. Anything good? Not really. Garbage. Ooh, that's not bad. Call me a liar. I'm just gonna check this jacket. I'm gonna go and smack the boss after this. Okay, that is the boss there. Unfortunately, he's only got a pistol on him. Unfortunately, he's only got a pistol. But we'll take his mags. Okay, there's another safe we need to go hit out there. Just gonna loot this here quickly. So already 1.1 mil. Even if we die, we've paid for our kit, essentially. Okay. Value keys are definitely worth buying because they're very cheap and you get a chance to get something good. As you can see, free safes are not exactly the best, but whatever. So guys, sell token on market. Don't use it for the helicopter. It's not worth it. It is not worth it. No. Safes have been absolute trash. Cool. Pack that. I'm gonna go and pack that. Unfortunate that I left my mags, but it is what it is. And do some quick looting here. Make sure we got everything we need. At this point, what I advise is that you go and you extract straight away. That's my advice to you, unless you're really comfortable with like pushing more safes. By now, realistically, all the other safes should be hit, but you can always try your luck. You never know. If you're new, pick everything up because it's money. I get to be selective because I'm close to like 1 billion Coin, so kind of don't really care. Self-rescue, very important. Garbage. Whatever. Check these drawers quick fast, see if you can get anything decent, like maybe a gold item or something. Nope. Not today. And then we'll push out. Not today. And garbage. Okay. Always use the wheel here. You do it by pressing V and then you can quick access everything. So it stops you from like going your inventory and popping stuff. Or you can just hotkey it. That works too. Alright, so now we got a couple of options here. We can push Valley Village or we can take the extract. I avoid this area around here because all the rats like snipe up there. To do this, we need to do search two computers. Let me see if there's any computers here that we can search. There's one. Okay. So that's one computer. And we can search one more and we can take that extract. It's much safer. Because all the rats are up on that mountain over there. We did kill a bunch over here that you can go and loot. I'm not gonna bother because I'm already full. But we did kill a couple of people down there. So be wary of those sniper spots there, I'd say. There's a free safe there, but I don't know if we should go for it. Probably not. It is very risky. Oh, we'll go and grab it anyway. Told you, best thing to do now, it's extract. But I'm not gonna do that. Just gonna chill here while we hit that safe. Garbage. Garbage. Alright. That was not worth the risk. Alright, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna push up to the courtyard. Check our left. Make sure no one's trying to rat here. This is a bit of a ratty map, so do be wary of that. There's a lot of new players that play this map, so that's why it's very like noob friendly. It's a good map to learn the game. Usually rats over there, so camping, do care, do care, do care. Then go and grab this quickly. I'm gonna be very wary for players here. Gonna search this computer for the extract. Perfect. So now our extract's open in factory. Seems like that's still what I mean, right? New players, they usually avoid the hotspots. Studio monitor. Okay. Garbage luck today with the safes, unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen. But it's a numbers game, right? Probability. Anything else worth looting here? Probably not really. The revival. It'd be good to have that. PSU, we don't care about that. Alright. Let's just get out. The shooting stopped. Scav shooting at bots. The AI in this game is so dumb. Unless it's like the boss AI, it is so dumb. This has been looted, chat. This has been looted. Just go and get out. Alright, and that's GG. Simple raid. 1.34 million. We take those.